For over 70 years, I have greeted the dawn from my study. As the world's oldest practicing doctor, I've learned that the quietest moments often hold the most important lessons. Think about this moment. The sun is rising. The world feels calm, full of promise. But what if I told you that for those of us over 60, this peaceful hour is also the most dangerous for our brain? This isn't just a feeling, it's a biological fact. A large meta-analysis published in the journal Stroke confirmed what we have observed for decades. Cardiovascular events, including strokes, have a documented peak in the morning hours, typically between 6 a.m. and noon. This isn't a coincidence. It's a rhythm built into our bodies. Today we're going to explore why this is, and more importantly, what we can do about it. And I'm not alone. I am joined by a voice of profound wisdom. She is our expert grandmother from the Amazon, a woman who reads the body's health not in textbooks, but in the rhythms of the rainforest itself. Welcome.
It is good to be here, Doctor.
Together, we're going to walk you through 5 simple yet profound morning habits. Some are drawn from modern science, others from ancient wisdom. These are not drastic changes, but small, intelligent shifts in your routine that can protect your brain during this vulnerable time. And I urge you to stay with us until the very end, because after we discuss these 5 habits, we're going to share a final, unifying insight, a secret that nature has been telling us all along about our body's internal clock and how listening to it is the key to lasting health.
Doctor, if you will permit me, I would like to begin with an image from my home. Our bodies are much like the forest. Our veins and arteries are the rivers and streams that carry life to every part of the land. After a long, dry night with no rain, the rivers run slow and thick. The water is heavy with sediment. If a sudden, strong current tried to force its way through, it would stir up the mud and could easily cause a blockage downstream. Our blood is the same in the morning. It does not want to be rushed when it is thick and slow. It needs a gentle awakening.
That is a perfect analogy. You've beautifully described what medical science calls a perfect storm of physiological events. Upon waking, 3 things happen inside our bodies that, when combined, create a period of high risk. First, as you said, is dehydration. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep without any fluids, our blood volume decreases. This makes the blood more concentrated and thicker. The medical term is increased blood viscosity. Think of it like trying to pump honey through a straw instead of water. The heart has to work much harder, and this thick, sticky blood is more likely to form clots.
The river is sluggish.
Precisely. The second event is something called the cortisol awakening response. To help us wake up and feel alert, our body releases a natural surge of a hormone called cortisol right around dawn. Cortisol is our built-in alarm clock, but it also has other effects. It constricts our blood vessels, making them narrower, and it signals the liver to release sugar into the bloodstream for energy. And that leads to the third part of the storm. A morning blood pressure surge. We now have thicker blood being pumped by a harder working heart through vessels that have been made narrower by cortisol. The result is a sharp, predictable rise in blood pressure for many people, especially those over 60. This combination is what makes the morning hours so precarious. It's not one single factor, but the dangerous synergy of all 3 happening at once.
In my community, the very first act of the day before the sun has fully risen is to drink. Not cold water, which shocks the body, but a warm infusion. We use the leaves of the guayusa tree, which grows in our forest gardens. It is boiled gently over the fire. This drink warms the body from the inside and gently wakes the mind without the harsh jolt of strong coffee. It tells the river it's time to flow again, slowly and smoothly. It is also a gift to the body. Research has found these leaves have twice the antioxidants of green tea.
I couldn't have designed a better first step myself, providing the body with warm fluid before anything else, before coffee, before food, before medication, is the most direct and powerful intervention to counteract that dangerous morning blood viscosity. You are, quite literally, thinning your blood. It's like a painter thinning the paint before starting to work. It just flows better. This isn't just theory. It's backed by significant evidence. A study reported in the European Journal of Neurology found that low morning hydration was a contributing factor in nearly half of all first-time ischemic strokes. And other research, like a study published in Aviation, Space, and Environmental Medicine, has shown that even mild dehydration can measurably increase blood thickness in just a few hours. So that simple glass of warm water or a gentle herbal tea is not just a comforting ritual. It is a potent, mechanical act of preventative medicine. You are physically reducing the conditions that allow a blood clot to form.
No animal in the forest leaps from deep sleep into a full run. Watch a jaguar or a monkey when it wakes. It stretches, it yawns, it moves its limbs slowly, it awakens its body before it asks it to perform. We are also animals of this earth, and we must follow the same wisdom. Before my feet touch the floor, while still lying down, I wake the body's streams. I circle my ankles, first one way, then the other. I point my toes to the sky, then flex them back. I reach my arms overhead, as if greeting the morning sun, feeling the stretch all the way down my sides. Only then do I sit up.
Grandmother, what you call waking the streams, we call preventing venous stasis, and it is absolutely critical. After hours of lying flat, when we sit up, gravity pulls blood down into our lower legs. In younger people with strong elastic veins and active calf muscles, this isn't a major issue. But as we age, our veins become less elastic. If we sit motionless, say, on the edge of the bed, checking a phone for 20 minutes, that blood can pool and become stagnant. This creates the perfect environment for a blood clot to form, a condition known as deep vein thrombosis, or DVT. If a piece of that clot breaks off, it can travel to the lungs or the brain, causing a stroke. What many people don't realize is that the physiological state of an older person sitting still for an hour after waking is nearly identical to that of a post-surgery patient lying in a hospital bed, a situation where we know the risk of DVT is extremely high. From your vascular system's point of view, there is no difference. This is why the timing of movement is so important. A study published in the journal Circulation tracked thousands of adults over 60 and found that those who were sedentary for more than 9 hours a day had double the stroke risk, even if they exercised later. The danger isn't just a lack of exercise, it's the long, uninterrupted periods of stillness. Those first 5 minutes of gentle, in-bed movement you described are a powerful way to reactivate the entire system safely and tell the pooled blood it's time to return to the heart.
The morning meal in my home is not a feast. It is simple, essential fuel, perhaps a piece of fresh papaya or a small, warm flatbread made from the root of the manioc plant. It is not about filling the stomach until it is heavy. It is about giving the body just enough strength to begin the day's work. We would never ask our bodies to work on empty.
And that is a lesson many of us in the modern world need to relearn. I see so many patients over 60 who skip breakfast. They say they're not hungry, or they're trying to practice intermittent fasting. But for an older adult, this can be one of the most dangerous morning habits. The reason is a condition called hypoglycemia, or low blood sugar. Your brain is an incredibly energy-hungry organ, but it has almost no fuel reserves. It runs almost exclusively on glucose, which is sugar from the food we eat. After an overnight fast of 8 to 12 hours, your glucose levels are already at their lowest. If you deny the brain that essential morning fuel, you risk dizziness, mental fog, and confusion. But the danger becomes acute for the millions of older adults who are on medication for high blood pressure or diabetes. These medications are powerful and are designed to work in concert with regular meals. If you take a diabetes medication like a sulfonylurea, which helps your body produce insulin, but then you don't eat, your blood sugar can plummet to dangerously low levels. This can trigger a vascular event. For this large and vulnerable group, skipping breakfast isn't a health strategy. It is a direct and risky interference with a medical treatment plan. A large-scale study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology followed people for many years and found that those who regularly skipped breakfast had a significantly higher risk of dying from cardiovascular disease. A small protein-rich meal, a boiled egg, a spoonful of yogurt, or a few nuts is enough to stabilize your blood sugar and support your brain.
The first moments of my day are for listening. Before the work begins, before the talking begins, I sit with my warm drink and listen to the forest waking up. I hear the first calls of the birds, the hum of the insects, the sound of the wind in the highest leaves. It is a time of quiet observation. It is about letting the world tell you it is morning, instead of you telling the world you are awake and in a hurry.
This buffer, as I call it, is not a luxury. It is a form of neurological hygiene. Remember that morning cortisol surge we talked about? It puts your body in a natural state of high alert. Your system is already primed for a fight or flight response. If, in that exact moment, you add psychological stressors, grabbing your phone to check alarming news headlines, reading a stressful work email, or starting an argument over the day's schedule, you are pouring gasoline on a fire. This combination doesn't just add stress, it amplifies the body's physiological reaction. The external trigger takes that natural, manageable hormonal peak and turns it into an extreme event, causing an even greater spike in blood pressure and heart rate in a body that is already in its most vulnerable state. The science on this is very clear. A 2015 study in the journal Stroke followed over 90,000 people and found that individuals who experienced high psychological stress in the first few hours after waking were significantly more likely to suffer a stroke, and the risk was highest in those over 60. Furthermore, long-term research from the Chicago Health and Aging Project showed that higher levels of psychosocial distress, which includes stress, depression, and a negative outlook, were linked to a threefold increase in the risk of dying from a stroke in older adults. Creating a 10-minute space of quiet, just sitting, stretching, or looking out a window, gives your brain and your vascular system a chance to stabilize before you load it with the demands of the day. We've discussed 5 habits this morning: gentle hydration, early movement, a small meal, and a moment of quiet. They may seem separate, but they are all connected by the secret I promised you at the beginning. That secret is your circadian rhythm. Our bodies are not modern machines that can be turned on and off with a switch. They are ancient organisms, tuned over hundreds of thousands of years to the rhythm of the rising and setting of the sun. That morning, vulnerability we talked about, the thick blood, the cortisol spike, the rising blood pressure, is a predictable, ancient part of that daily clock. And the 5 habits we've discussed are not random health tips. They are the 5 simple things our ancient biology expects us to do upon waking. It expects hydration to replenish the night's losses. It expects gentle movement to restart circulation safely. It expects a small amount of fuel to power the brain. And it expects a period of quiet awareness to manage the natural stress response before the hunt or the commute begins. By honoring these simple needs, we are not learning a new trick. We are remembering an ancient truth. We are working with our body's clock, not against it. Grandmother, the final word belongs to you.
You cannot force a flower to open by pulling at its petals. You will only tear it. You give it water, you give it sun, and you allow it to unfold in its own time. Our bodies are the same. In the morning, we must give ourselves what we need and allow ourselves to awaken with the day, not against it. Be gentle with your awakening.
Be gentle with your awakening. Thank you for joining us on the Wise Longevity podcast.